Do we have sound? I think we do. We've certainly got heat. Hat again, it's gorgeous. I think that's what we're doing today. I'm sure when I was walking up here, I was running through things in my head and there was about 15 things. And now I can only think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sure they will come to me. Well, let's start with, let's start with planting out that Cavalla Nero, because that is the one that I ordered online and it arrived yesterday, and it's just in little tiny like plugs in a plastic envelope. So I need to get them out. So I've got to decide where we're going to put them. I think it's the bed that I cleared at the end of last week's vlog. So I'll take them up now and get them out. And that will make Mum incredibly happy, because she's been fretting over the fact that we've got very few Cavalla Nero. And the only ones that we do have were the ones that Johanna gave us, which are now not so much Cavalla Nero, but like skeletons of Cavalla Nero. Bloomin' slugs. Actually, I was listening to the radio earlier this morning, and they were talking about the RHS has put out a big thing about the number of slugs this year. So yeah, we are not alone. It's being officially recognised that this is Year of the Slug. Doesn't make it any better that it's officially recognised, but at least we know. How many of these do we actually have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, oh, 12. That's quite a lot. Still, I know that it is one of those things that we like to eat all year and you can never have enough of it. So I probably will put all 12 in, I think. It's just a case of which bed. Okay, I'm going to put 6 in this bed, along with, I've got 2 white sprouting broccolis down there that a plot neighbour has given me in exchange for some peppermint chard. And then we have some mystery brassicas that were supposed to be Calibos cabbages, which are a pointed like spring cabbage shaped red cabbage. But unfortunately, I've mentioned this before, but when Mum pots things up, when I've had them in a seed tray, when Mum pots them up, she doesn't make new labels for them. So she transfers the one label from the tray into one of the pots and then just groups them together in the hope that they're never going to be moved and that she's miraculously going to remember what they are. But you know what brassicas are like? When they're young, they all look exactly the same. So we don't know what they are. We've got mystery brassicas, as we do every year. So this bed is going to be 6 Cavalla Nero, 2 white sprouting broccoli, and however many of the unknown we can fit at the end. So these two are the white sproutings from George. This one is double-headed because it's been slugged up at his place. That one, however, is still looking pretty strong, so you can see the difference between one that got eaten and one that didn't. But they should both still produce white sprouting. And I absolutely love white sprouting broccoli, so that is good. Actually, the white sprouting broccoli that we had last year also came from George. And it's one of those typical things, like there is an unspoken rule when you're growing plants for people that when you grow them for somebody else, they do 100 times better on their plot than they do for you. And that's exactly what happened to the white sprouting last year. We had fantastic, the stuff he gave us all did absolutely brilliant. He didn't get a sausage from his. It's just typical, but anyway, they're in. So white sprouting broccoli is just like purple sprouting broccoli, but it, well, it's white. It looks cauliflowery, but it definitely tastes a lot more like purple sprouting broccoli than like a cauliflower, but still. Pretty happy with that. These are actually pretty nice looking plants. We ordered them ages ago when we first had our panic that all of the Cavallinera had been eaten. So they were supposed to be sent out to us on like the 1st of July, or I think it was like the 3rd of July or something, but it was very early anyway. And then they had a delay and they only just arrived yesterday, which was what? The 16th, 15th, 16th? So obviously they've been having problems too, but the plants themselves look really chipper, so very pleased with them. Right, now in this end is going the mystery numbers. Excellent, I may as well stick that in there. Whew, it's hot. My next job is going to be in the shade. That greenhouse was bought before my time, or at least before I would have been having any say on the greenhouse. And why we decided to buy one that you have to be under 5 foot to use, I have no idea. I bang my head on that all the time. It's so annoying. Right, I think that's probably okay spacing, and then it gives me a little edge on this side to stick something else in. I'll plonk them in there now. These are the mystery ones. Another bed potted up, not potted up, another bed planted up. Excellent, excellent. Give these a water in next. No, I'll pass them out to you and you stick them on there. Be quicker that way. 2 at a time. They are. Yeah, they're wet. That's it.
Put your business in there, are you?
My business? Yes. I'm going to fill up those reservoirs You get the hose. Oh no. That was the one pepper we had on the plant, has just fallen off. Right, come on reservoirs. It is quite. Stage 2 on the Quadgrows front. So following my instructions to the T, I watered from the top initially and I've let that top surface dry right out. And now I'm filling the bases just with water, no feed. So I'm going to leave it a month before I start putting any feed in because of the residual feed that's in the compost that I've used. So I had a number of comments last week that I was supposed to have wet or soaked the capillary matting triangles before I put the soil in and planted on top of them. But capillary matting, by its very nature, is that capillary action, so it pulls the water. You only need to dip one tiny section of it in water and it drags the water up. So I don't see that it's going to be a problem, and I've checked and my triangles are sucking the water up. And I'm following it to the T, and that wasn't in the instructions, so I don't think I've made a mistake. We will find out, I suppose. Mixing up another batch of 50-50 with our own compost and the Silvergrow seems to be working really nicely. It's like we've hit a sweet spot on the compost front. But we are adding a little bit of extra something because there's not a lot of nutrients in the Silvergrow. So in this case, chicken manure pellets, but we've also been putting a bit of blood, fish and bone in depending on what we've got at hand. What have we got? Let's start with the 2 aubergines. Actually got 4 of these, but I'm going to stick 2 outside. Just plonk them in a bed up there and see how they do. I'm hoping this is going to be enough compost, but I don't think it's going to be. So these 7-litre green pots are what we've been growing in mainly in both the polytunnel and the greenhouse for years. Obviously the polytunnel has now got like a proper raised bed in that we can plant straight into, but previously we grew all our tomatoes, everything in these pots. I think it's going to be quite interesting to have the direct comparison between these and what's been grown in the Quadgrows, because we've got quite a lot of doubled up varieties, so we'll get a direct comparison. Very pot bound. This is one of the ones we bought. This is actually yellow banana, sweet pepper, this one. Go on, little chap. Spread your roots. I know it's been a hard life up until now. I know, I'm sorry, I'm a bad mother. Oh, I've got 3 aubergines. Okay, so we've got one white knight, which is a long skinny white one. We've got Black Beauty, which is a standard black one, and we've got, oh, another white knight. Nice. That still leaves 2 actually that are going in the bed up there. I have more aubergines than I thought I did. These are the only 2 surviving varieties out of the original 5, though. Okay, 1, 2, 3 aubergines, lovely. 1 yellow banana. This one is the other bought pepper, which is yellow bullhorn. Let's get that one in. Same with the chilies and peppers. I started off with, well, it must have been at least 15 different varieties, and I've ended up with probably 6. Right, 3 more. Who have we got? Champion. It's just one of those years. But I mean, by the time you get to this stage and you're trying to pot them all up, when you do have 15 varieties, you realise you don't have enough space for them. So it's probably worked out all right in the end. Who's that? This is my other hot lemon. Probably not enough compost in here though. The 2 that I'm most disappointed that I don't have are orange habaneros, which has been a long-term favourite of mine. Just happened to be one of the ones that never did anything this year. And the other one is Korean, which was another one I got off JB. So I got the Champion off him and this Korean pepper. And unfortunately, not a single one of the Koreans survived. But it has just been a terrible year, and I'm really impressed we've actually got any to this stage. Whew, right. That's all of them in, apart from the 2 that I'm going to put up there. And actually I've mixed up more compost than I needed because I'm going to plant those sweet potatoes in one of those big pots. Right, are you ready to see how much no garlic we've got?
Yes, I am.
We are not optimistic about the state of the garlic. We're not. Okay, should we get these into the greenhouse first then? Right, let me just get my hair out my face.
You know exactly where they're going, don't you?
Yeah, I just need to put those 4 trays on the ground. Where are you? Over there. So I've actually got 2 varieties of sweet potato. Neither of them are the one that I wanted to grow, which was Beauregard, which was definitely in the shop because I picked it up and thought, well, hey, they've actually got Beauregard. But I somehow managed to walk away with Orleans and Erato Violet. You'll notice neither of them begin with B. They should have gone into the pot quite a while ago, but I mean, they still look pretty healthy. So I'm going to plonk them in here. I would grow them separately in 2 separate pots, but we just don't have the space for it. And the fact that we've got 1 orange and 1 purple means that when we're digging them up, we're going to know which variety is which anyway. So I'm afraid, chaps, you're going to have to deal with sharing root space. The reason I wanted to grow the Beauregard specifically was that that's the only one I've ever had any success with before, and it was fantastic. We actually had really, really decent sweet potatoes from it, which is a variety that's known to grow really well over here because obviously we don't have the heat or like the long summer for them to really get going, but they're a known one that does well in pants weather. Yep, so they are going to be bedfellows. I'm guessing because they're selling these over here though, they can't be ones that really aren't going to grow. First year I grew that Beauregard, brilliant. It was so exciting to actually have homegrown sweet potatoes, which feels incredibly tropical. The second year, I actually tried to make my own slips, to grow my own slips from a supermarket sweet potato, and obviously I didn't know what variety it was, and it had come from, I don't know, Peru or somewhere that basically doesn't have climate like southwest London, and we got nothing. We got like a few little slithery cigar ones, and that was it. But I'm hoping the fact that these were sold in a garden centre over here means that, you know, that they've at least got half a chance. Okay, this one's going to go in this corner here. Okay, please excuse the state of this area. It's become a bit of a dumping ground, and we've got garlic, potatoes, shallots and everything that have all died back, and we haven't unearthed them or done anything with them. Now, unfortunately, this is a garlic pot, and the 3 up there are all garlic, and I don't think there is anything in them. I moved one earlier like that, and it just looks like it's just rotted off at the bottom. So when I say I don't have high hopes, I have pretty much no hopes for what's in here, but we will find out. We can't just leave them in there, so we've got to do them.
Ready?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how optimistic are you?
3.
Oh, well, that's more than me. That is more than me. Okay.
A lot of roots.
There's a lot of roots.
I don't think it's a
There is a...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not good, is it?
It's mush. It's mush. No,
Is
oh
that it?
dear.
So what
So
are you going to do with this soil?
I do not know what that is that has done that. So we grow them, or the last couple of years, we've been growing them in pots because we have got white rot in the soil here. So every time we grow onions, or I mean, spring onions are fine because they're in the ground for such a short amount of time that they can come up, and even if they're just starting to get affected by the time we've eaten them, by the time it was going to cause them any damage, things like garlic, leeks, onions, they're in the ground for so much longer that they really, really suffer. And these, but we grew them in pots specifically because there shouldn't be any white rot in bought compost. So now what we're trying to work out is whether or not we used a mixed soil. Now I can't remember what we planted these in. If we used, possibly did we use the stuff that the potatoes had been in the year before?
Could have been.
If we did that, I think that was a mix of our own compost, wasn't it? In which case, we've just basically grown them in white rot. Woody.
That's woody. That's got something else in it too. It's not
Yeah.
our bought compost.
Okay. Well, I think we have officially messed this one up, but you know, never mind. Okay, let's tip the rest of them out then. Mush, mush,
Mush, is it?
mush, total mush. We can dry them out, see if there's anything usable in there, but that's a shame. I think this one was planted in pure silver grow though.
Yes. Looks like it, doesn't it?
But we'll dry these out
Yeah.
and see if anything can be saved.
Okay.
So that's a real shame because these look like they had potential. I mean, they'd split really nicely. There's lots of shallots in there, but they're just soft and blech. But not a great deal of signs of white rot on them. Like the white rot's quite distinctive. This doesn't seem to have it, but they are just mush. So I think I'm going to have to let them dry out a bit and then have a real look at what's going on in there. But not great. Not a wild success, that one. Oh, and just to show off the incredible garlic that we got, this was one. Sorry about, what are you doing, Margot? Margot's, what? Please excuse the chicken. This is the extent of our garlic harvest. Yeah. Shut up, girlie! Shut up, girlie! Okay. You're just rescuing. This one doesn't have any rescues in it, does it, other than the rocket? Should I pick the rocket? May as well. Actually, they're quite nice plants. I could transplant them. I'll borrow that trowel.
Where do you want to go?
I'll put them in.
We could go on the other side of this side. Or just somewhere. We'll be eating them fairly quickly though, won't we?
Yeah.
Or anywhere really. Now we'll lift it up.
I'll just stick them in amongst these other rockets, huh? Okay, I'm going to tip those in.
Yep.
One handle each.
Yep. What are you expecting from this? Not a lot.
Not a lot from here either.
Ooh.
Ooh!
Few.
A few. More than I was expecting. For putting these in so ridiculously late. These magnificent pink jewels are probably my favourite potato. This is Red Duke of York. I know it's a real bog standard one, but it's just the joy of pulling these pink gems out of the soil is just love, and they taste fantastic. Don't know if you remember earlier in the season, we had real struggle getting hold of them despite them being a real like normal one, and we could only get the white Duke of Yorks, which are the ones that are planted up in the actual beds, you know, where we did the whole beds of potatoes. So these were like a last ditch when somebody we knew had some extras left over from when they planted theirs. So yeah, super late. So to get anything out of these pots, I'm really, really chuffed. Okay, This side of the bed is where I'm going to put this chard. I've got 3 varieties. One of them is my beautiful peppermint chard, which is going to be the priority down this main strip. But I also have some white silver from George, and I've got a couple of white silver of my own, but they didn't do so well. So I'm going to kind of split the two. Mum has also planted out some plain green Bietta in this bed at the end here. Just look at those chickpeas, they're the latest ones. Look at the first lot I put in. I'm so excited about these chickpeas. Like, this is what I thought they were going to look like last year, and they didn't. No chickpeas yet though, although I am supposed to be doing chard right now. This bed is, down the centre of them are the winter squash. So we've got the little dumpling and the sweet dumpling, ichikakuri, white acorn, all those. So they're all really small pumpkins, but they are going to grow up this structure, so they're going to be going in that direction, which leaves us one long strip down here. I'm going to plant them there. Now, unfortunately, one of these pumpkins has come a cropper with the slugs, which is the little dumpling. And I do believe that was the only dumpling I put in, but I've got a spare in the, oh, I think I've just been bitten in the eyebrow. Marvellous. Wonderful. I think I've got a spare one in the greenhouse, which I didn't have space for. So it's just a case of, do I just get rid of this one and plant a new one, although it looks like it's hanging on for dear life. Like, that just seems mean. Maybe I'll pot that one up so that it's kind of in waiting. Yeah, okay. And also behind here, because this is going to be shaded, I actually have some Japanese turnips to go in at the back there. I'm going to direct sow them, but they like a bit of shade, so that's what these will provide. Anyway, let's have a look. How many of these have I got? 5 of the ones from George, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 peppermint. Gorgeous. I have also got a nasturtium growing right in the middle there that I don't want, so get a trowel and move him first. Early on in the season I try and save nasturtiums, but as you can see we are not short of a nasturtium, so I'm just going to plonk this one somewhere a bit more convenient. Where are you going to go? Stick him in here. This is actually that flower bed that I created out of the old barbecue. I don't know if you remember. Some of it's come on really nicely. We've got some beautiful, really, really dark nasturtiums and some pale apricot ones. It's looking nice. Even some of the verbena survived, but we had a bit of a problem with the other stuff that I planted in here. So I put loads of cosmos in, and what was the other thing that I put in? Oh, cornflowers, black ball cornflowers, all the way across here. But unfortunately, this bit of the fence has come down, so there's nothing in there. And because the next door plot is abandoned at the moment, what's been happening is that this has been the route in for foxes and whoever else is coming in, be it badgers or whatnot. They're coming straight through here, and because this was all lovely and like full of horse manure and all sorts of exciting stuff, they just came through and just dug all the way through this repeatedly. So every day we were turning up and having to replant the stuff in here, so things have really suffered. We've got no cosmos at all left, not a sausage, and the only cornflowers are these little ones. And oh, I lie, look, there is a cosmos, an absolute dwarf, just about survived the slugs. But yeah, these cornflowers here should have been like really super tall, like up here, and there was loads of them, but sadly not. But the nasturtiums are beautiful. I mean, look at that one, that's really gorgeous. And these guys over here, sorry, it's a bit threatening me doing this with the knife. Yeah, look, really pretty colour. But we are not short of nasturtiums. This absolute field of them behind me, where the asparagus, and where in fact the strawberries are supposed to be, they're under there somewhere. Okay, what was I doing? Planting out chard. Ooh, don't fall over. Like I said, 2 varieties going in here. The peppermint one, which is my, oh, it's just the most beautiful chard. It is like fluorescent pink and white striped stems. They're stunning. Also going in is the white silver, which is a slightly smaller version of a white stemmed. It's not the Ford Hook Giant, which I absolutely love. But I don't have any of them this year, so I'm just going with white silver. In this bed though, I'm going to give them loads of space. I'm only going to put 7 across the whole length of this. I'm not going to double them up and try and fit more plants in here. Elsewhere, I will plant them a bit closer together and we'll just have, you know, smaller plants. But I want at least one row of really good sized plants. What I don't have any planted or ready to go out is Lucullus, which is my other favourite one. I've sown it twice now and it's been eaten off by slugs both times, so it's a particularly soft tender leaf one, so the slugs go completely nuts for it. So I think I'm going to sow some more of it because it is not too late to get more chard in. So it is under here that I'm going to sow, just direct sow the turnip. These ones I'm sowing are a variety called Tokyo Cross. It's not one that I've ever grown before, and actually this packet of seed was like a freebie giveaway handout thing off the Niwaki stand at the Garden Media Guild Day event thing, whatever it was, in early March. From the sound of it, it does not sound like there's a great deal in the packet, but I'm going to just do a whole stretch down here and see how far I get. They are a variety. It says on the packet, I've never grown this one before, like I say, but the variety itself says that they enjoy a shady spot. So this should give them exactly what they want. This one at the end here, I think, see if there's anything. Oh! Hello! Yeah, that's quite exciting. We are. I'll just see if there's any others in there that look. It might be nice if we could get 4 so we could all have one. Yeah, but it's very shallow, I think. I might try this one here. Woo! That one looks like it might have something under it. Yes.
Oh, a bit skinnier than the others.
Little bit skinnier. So this was a bit of a let's just have a look and see if there's anything underneath there, and there is. God, they smell wonderful as well. Oh. Mum's just handing me another prize carrot. Give it to the girlies. Yeah, but so sowed on the same day, you can see the difference between the orange carrots and like the purple carrots, the difference in size. The purple carrots probably need to be left rather a lot longer, but they are being munched like crazy under there. Orange carrots seem to be being left pretty much alone. Like you can see the difference. Let me just split them up here. Ooh. Right, the orange foliage is really lovely and lush, and the purple foliage is being munched. How strange is that? Anyway, I'm very pleased to have some carrots. I think that's us pretty much done for today. Tomorrow is meant to be about 32 here, I think. So I think a lot of what we're doing tomorrow is going to be nothing. Probably not even come up here other than to do a bit of watering, check on the greenhouse, check on the girlies, obviously. But I think I'm going to be like that in the garden tomorrow.
Yep, got everything.
Cool. Sorry? I can confirm that yesterday was boiling, and yes, I did just do that in the garden for a lot of it. It was really hot and we had a barbecue and we all sweltered. Yes, but it's much cooler today. It's amazing, just like one day later. So we peaked at like 31, I think. So it wasn't boiling. It wasn't boiling, but because we've had so much rain in the build up to that, it was just like a sweaty mess rather than it being like just 31 or something. Because like 2 years ago, it was 41 here. Like it's not, I do understand that 31 is not boiling hot, but when we've had basically a whole summer of rain so far, and then it suddenly gets up to 30, then it's just like being in a rain cloud. Being in a rain cloud. Anyway, cheers chaps. Some highs and lows this week. I will say the garlic and the shallots were not peak. But I knew, I mean, it didn't come as a surprise. I could see that things had gone wrong with them really early on, and actually currently we don't know what that is, but I will get back to you on it, because total fail. Absolute total fail. Such a shame. Like the garlic, every year, like if you've been watching this now for however many blooming years we've been doing this, you will know every year we have issues with the garlic. It doesn't matter whether it's getting them to germinate, buying them, harvesting them, whatever happens, we always have problems with it. Like garlic is not one of the things that we find easy to grow on our site. But shallots, the shallots are normally fine. We used to grow Zebrun banana shallots years ago from seed, and they always did fantastically well. But we used to sow them direct into the beds because they work really well direct. And now, obviously, like I was saying, we do have the white rot in the beds, and so we can't really do that anymore, which is a bit of a shame. So we've been growing those shallots from sets. And normally, like the last couple of years, we've had no problems with them whatsoever. So I do not know what's gone wrong this time, but they were really slimy and really gross. Anyway, we've left them to dry, and we'll see if we can identify what the problem was once they're less. But although that was like not the best, we're just sort of sliding into harvesting territory now. Like the courgettes are just starting to come. And so we got the 2 yellow ones were the first 2 that came, but the striata, the stripy ones, they are just starting to produce. We've got about 6 on one, and so 4 or 5 on the other. They're like this big at the moment, so like just a couple of days off being picked. And we got the first 2 French beans. I know that's not a wild harvest, but you know, once they start going with beans, it just seems to take ages for them to actually start. And then once they start, suddenly it's like a tidal wave. You're absolutely flooded in them. So I cannot wait for that, because I love beans. I absolutely love beans. What's funny though, actually I'll talk about this next week, because I haven't filmed it obviously. That would take far too much forethought. But all of my beans are doing really, really well. That's the 3 types of French beans, the Asturian beans from Jinxie and the runner beans, brilliant. The Bruno beans are really, really struggling. So I will show you what's going on with them next week, and we'll see if anybody out there can come up with an answer, because they look terrible. And they're in like the same bed as other beans doing really well. So there's just something going on there that I don't know. But you know, you win some and you lose some is a bit of the theme for this week. Bit of a theme. A lot of it was losing some, but no, stuff is really starting to come on now. So I think we're just at the cusp of things really feeling like summer, because up until now it's felt like early June, yeah, all the way through. I mean, what are we now on, like the 19th, 20th of July, and it has felt like early June. But when you start getting a courgette and a bean or 2, it's like, oh yeah, Oh yeah, it is actually summer. It is. But something else that I'm not going to update you on is the kitchen, although I can tell you there has been some advancement that involves running water. I know, it's incredible. But next week I'm going to actually show you what they've done in there because it looks pretty good. It's actually starting to look like a kitchen again, which is exciting. So I'll show you what's going on down there next week when we're not like pushed for time, because this was a long video. It was, even though everything we did was all on one day. Like, I've been racing around. I had a really oddly sociable week this week. I don't normally, I'm normally a bit of a hermit. And this week I was off with a friend of mine earlier in the week, and then I went for a really fantastic walk around Brompton Cemetery, which was really nice. And it's just all been a bit much. So we really only got one good solid day in at the allotment, which is the one you saw. But I think we got quite a lot done. I think we did. Anyway, on that note, it's cheers, chaps. Cheers to my Patreons, who no doubt will get an early update on the kitchen, because I'm going to be way too excited about like the next thing that's happening, which is supposed to be happening on Monday, when this video is coming out. So I'm sure they'll be inundated with me like, oh my god, look at my sink, you know. So they will have already seen it. But yeah, so cheers to them and putting up with all of my nonsense, and cheers to everybody else who has been watching. And I hope that you are also starting to feel like things are moving on and it's not such a slow year. We're just all hoping for it to be long out the other end now, aren't we? Come on, the Indian summer. That's what we want. Anyway, cheers, chaps. See you next week. What? What's your problem?